Moon Knight episode 4.
Yeah, more of a mindfuck.
Yeah, okay, let's not do it backwards. So let's start at the beginning of the episode.
I don't know, the whole episode, the whole series is a mindfuck.
Okay, so obviously at the end of episode 3, Khonshu had been imprisoned.
Yeah.
And we're kind of left with, shit, what do we do now? Mark, Stephen don't have their powers. There was a bit of there was a few more teases for Jake. And we also kind of got led to believe that Mark was maybe responsible for his wife's father's death.
Yeah.
And it leaves a lot up in the air to the point of it almost felt like a season cliffhanger, not a mid part of a season. Because we really don't know what's coming. So we come back in, we've got them trekking through the desert, trying to beat Arthur to the tomb, as well as not having any power. And one of the first things that happen is all of that progression we've kind of seen of Mark and Stephen agreeing to like tag in and out when it's necessary gets thrown out the window. Stephen's like, wait, so Khonshu's gone? Yes. You said when Khonshu goes, you go. Bye.
Yeah. It kind of switched up.
That really threw me. And I don't know if I like that.
I think when it happened, I was kind of like, oh shit, okay. But it kind of does, like, it still felt like it makes sense to me. It's like they were starting to do the tag in thing, but there was still that, like, Stephen didn't want to be doing the stuff that, like, he was, he reluctantly was willing to help. And it was kind of like, oh, Khonshu's gone. We made this agreement that when Khonshu goes, you'll let me be in charge. So why is that change now? And so, yeah, it made sense to me that he then would decide to take control.
Yeah. I really liked the tomb section. Like when they realised that the way it's laid out is like the Eye of Horus. And maybe we should look at the tongue if we want to find the Avatar's body.
Yeah, the whole lead up was like. Also,
we definitely got the Indiana Jones vibe we've been waiting for.
Yeah, and then it was like also like as they arrived at the camp, and then there was no one there, but it was kind of like some of the shots they showed definitely gave you the vibe that this felt like it wasn't abandoned properly.
Yeah.
Like there was something going, like from the get-go when they arrived there, I was like, something weird's going on here. Like there's more to this than just like they've gone into the tomb. And then when they are figuring out like it's the Eye of Horus and then they're finding their way through. I will also add, the bit when they abseiled in and then Stephen just fell in.
Yeah.
Because he clearly didn't want to say that he had no clue what he was doing, and she's used to Mark.
To this girl that he likes, can you show me how to do this?
Yeah, when Mark is usually no, so she didn't think anything of it. But yeah, then the whole looking through and the kind of the level of detail on things, and then when they found the fresh blood on the table, I was like, something's gone down here, something weird, and then a creepy guy comes out of the shadows.
So I've seen discussion about this on Twitter, and I want your opinion. Is that moment where Mark's hiding above and you see the hand come over the scariest moment so far in the MCU?
I don't know if the part with the hand is the scary moment. I was more like gritting teeth, like, oh shit, when she was on the, like, crouched by the table and she was trying to, like, move around it while he was, like, that was more of a tense moment, like.
But that entire section.
Okay, yeah, I'd say that section with the creepy ass mummy thing.
I don't think we've seen anything that, like, genuinely, like, before in Marvel, and I think it was done beautifully.
Yeah, I can't think in Marvel if there's anything been like that.
Yeah,
I
we
think
had a
that's
couple of like jump moments, but
yeah.
nothing like genuinely where you're like, oh no. Yeah, it's one of the things where it just gives you the heebie-jeebies.
It was really well built up to though as well, because it's like they kind of weren't noticing things, but you could, like, the way it was filmed was making it clear that something was going on. And then when they like noticed some small things, but then they kind of brushed them off. I don't think anyone was expecting it to be some like creepy ass fucking undead mummy thing. That clearly is something to protect the tomb.
Yeah.
I almost thought at first, when you could hear something coming, there's going to be another thing they couldn't see.
And because
only
he didn't
like
have his powers anymore.
Well, I wasn't sure if like he'd still see it or something, or like it would be some situation like that. But yeah.
But yeah, it was very, very good. Then we find out that this tomb could be the long lost tomb of Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
Which really just adds a level of lore that I loved.
Lore and like kind of ties it. It helps add to that feeling that it's of these times that Marvel likes to do. Like they like to try and tie in some pop culture references or like real world references to make it feel like this cinematic universe is going on in the world we live in.
It makes it feel more lived in.
Yeah.
Then Arthur and his goons turn up to take it off of Stephen.
Yeah.
Mark takes over, or Stephen just goes, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." I don't know which.
I thought I thought that's when we were going to get the Jake. I thought there was going to be a situation where like Mark wouldn't want to take over, and then that's when they'd reveal Jake, but it didn't happen.
So then we went for the traditional, okay, yeah, I'll give over. Come over here. He fucks a couple of guys up, and then he gets shot.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what I was expecting at this moment, because I'm aware he didn't have his powers. But part of me thought Khonshu would like turn out to be quite compassionate, so much so that he was able to break free to save him. Or he was going to fall into the water and it was going to be some kind of special, like, Lazarus pit-esque water. Or what? And then the second bullet hit. And I went, oh shit, I don't know what's happening.
For me, it was like, he started fucking him up and then yeets the axe at one of them, just like, well, that seems like a bold move. And then it does like the pan with the axe and then it just shoots him once. I'm like, well, that's him. I was like, okay, he's just been shot in the chest. So I'm like, and then it's like he's followed by this like second shot. I'm like, oh, he's dead. He's dead now. I'm like, Marvel's either going to pull some moment here where he lives, or I'm just gonna he's just going to be dead. And then
then we get this weird kind of Indiana Jones film. And
yeah.
I find myself going, wait, has Disney lagged and it's showing me some random fucking thing?
I got WandaVision vibes.
And then the character calls the other character Stephen, Dr. Grant. And I'm like, the fuck is going on here? And then everything up until that point in the Moon Knight show gets thrown out the fucking window.
Well, it just gets flipped. They basically just flip the table, and now you don't know what the table was anymore.
Yeah. And do you know what the annoying thing for me is? And it's annoying in the sense of I'm annoyed with myself, not annoying in the sense of the quality of the show. When I did my character profile on Moon Knight in episode, I want to say 4, I literally said in the comics, Mark, Stephen, Moon Knight, they are all unreliable narrators because of their mental illness. And I just seem to forget about that because of like the shaking and the cutting between characters. I was like, oh, so they're just going to show us everything, but they're going to show us the distinction between the characters. Forgetting that these characters are still mentally ill, they could misremember things.
So, when everything shifted at the end of episode 4, the first thing I thought of was when you did that character profile, there was a point in it where you mentioned that there's even a thought amongst fans, or like even in the comics, of this could all just be made up by Steven.
Yeah.
And immediately I was like, I don't know what to trust anymore, because this could be the reality and everything else has been made up, or this is some weird heaven scene where he's dying, so his brain's turned reality into something else, or what we've seen is reality and this is some now weird new made up way, or this is like an inside look at his brain, or who fucking knows now.
Exactly. We see basically all of the characters who've like been noteworthy throughout the show in this scene as well. The police officers were the what they called. I don't call them nurses.
The psych wardens.
Yeah. You had Stephen's boss sitting in a chair watching the TV. You had one of the guys solving a Rubik's Cube. You had his wife fucking eating marshmallows, writing stuff up on the board.
It was everyone that was a part of the antagonist guy. I always forget his name. Arthur. Like all of the staff and like nurses or wardens, whatever, are all his goons that we've seen throughout. Then it's like anyone that's been popped up in Steven's life is just another patient. And then like his wife is a slightly less crazy looking patient out of some of the other ones we were briefly shown. She seemed to have more going on. And then Steven, they show Steven and he's like completely sedated.
You know what one I didn't notice at first, but I did see on Twitter?
Go on.
The guy right at the very beginning who was calling out bingo. That was the golden statue, man.
Oh yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. And he was shouting out B22, which isn't a bingo thing. which bugged me. He was like,
there might be a reason for
that. There probably is a reason for it. And then his wife was saying, I've got bingo, I've won, and half a sheet's filled in, and I'm thinking...
then he obviously goes in to sit and have an appointment with his psychiatrist.
Who is Arthur.
And at this point, it could all very easily make sense that this has all been a big delusion, because the enemies are all the people who are working there trying to look after him, and all of his friends and people he knows who aren't the enemy are other patients. So it's all very believable, but you still find yourself going, wait, but I don't like you as the watcher still find yourself going, no, but that's the bad guy. Even though it's very possible he's not the bad guy.
It's like up until that point of this little like scene, it all suddenly makes you think, holy shit, he's just in a psych ward. This is all just a delusional thought. And it's like, that's where your brain suddenly goes. But then when he goes into the office with Arthur, they slowly then pull apart that thought, because the way it's filmed, they don't show you all the Egyptian artifacts straight away. You slowly, as if you gain your peripheral vision of that, like Steven does, like they slowly like kind of reveal this office space and how it is actually just like there's so much Egyptian like artifacts and kind of things that feel like feels like they've literally gone from like the reality we've just been seeing and just copy pasted it into this room. Then there's like the details of he's in the sandals again. He spots the sandals, and there's a point where you can hear the sandals crunching still. And I'm like, okay, so if he's a doctor, why would he have sandals with glass in them? And
But
then,
can you even trust they actually do have glass in them, or is that just his hallucinations? See what I mean?
yeah, but like, the only reason I like in the doctor's office, this is what I'm like. I think when he's in that one-on-one, like having therapy session, they then start pulling apart like this also could now be another thing that's going on in his head, and you don't know at all which is reality now because they've merged them.
What I will say is Moon Knight is a street level hero in comics, so this entire situation has always seemed a bit big for his boots. So I would be all in for this to end up being him breaking out of a psych ward and being a psycho vigilante. I'm fine with that. I know people will be pissy with that, and I don't think that is what's going to happen because a lot of people would be pissy about it. But I would actually be fine with that. What really I thought was amazing was he's then broken out of the interview meeting thing, and he's found a tomb that's fucking bang, 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 bang. He opens it up, and there is Stephen.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm sure everyone like myself instantly went, "Oh, it's Stephen!" Because even the way Oscar Isaac like controls his body when he's acting as these guys, you can tell who it is, which I think is just phenomenal. And I can't praise Oscar Isaac enough for this. And then the bit that annoyed me most, they get out, they're running, they see another sarcophagus banging to be let out, and they go, "No, we're gonna leave that," and they just keep going. Let Jake out, bitches. Let him out.
That sarcophagus design was kind of made to look
scary.
Yeah, scary, more like violent looking than one. And I think
I mean, it's got to be Jake, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, that's what they're playing on. They want you all to like they're finally really in your face like, look, there's a third personality. But we're not showing
people
you.
who are realising it from episode 1/2, like me and yourself. People who started to pick up on it on episode 3, and now everyone else at the same time is going, "Oh, maybe there's a third guy."
Yep.
To the point where Jake Lockley was literally trending on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah.
I went onto our Cutscene Convo's Twitter, and under the trending for you was literally Jake Lockley. And I clicked on it, I was like, wow. Everyone is it's just loads of screenshots of that guy. Let the motherfucker out. Let my boy Jake run free.
They're like clearly I think we're gonna start the next episode with meeting him.
So, like I said, I thought the episode was going to end with them chains breaking, him falling out, and him going, "Hi, I'm Jake. Let's get out of here." And then we'd get like an episode of the 3 of them fighting together to get out, and then an episode where they're back in, I want to say, the real world, or the world we've become accustomed to. But instead of that, we get the most bizarre thing I've ever fucking seen. They kick open the doors, they're ready to keep making their run for it, and just hippopotamus.
So
it looks friendly, just so I can be very clear. It looks like it's going to help them out, despite their screams of terror. He looked like he smiled at them.
I don't know Egyptian gods well enough. Is there an Egyptian god that is it? Because obviously they're all different animals.
Oh god!
And have like
Egyptian
animal
goddess
head.
Hippo is like an autofill.
Not surprised after that.
Okay, so we didn't see much more. Okay, no, so this has literally answered my question. Moon Knight, the hippo goddess from episode 4 explained. Who is Tauret? Tauret is the Egyptian goddess of fertility and childbirth. She has the appearance of a hippo, but with the arms of a lion and the tails and legs of a crocodile, as in Moon Knight.
That's because my immediate thought was like, this is an Egyptian god.
Wait, is that the lady who was in the
So then, yeah, this is what I'm thinking. It's like when so obviously it ends on that, and in my head I'm like, well, that's got to be an Egyptian god, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so which? And then I was like, is this going to be the one of the ones that was at the meeting in the pyramid?
So that lady that was really nice in the meeting, I've got a feeling that maybe that's the god that she's the avatar for, and that's why she looks so friendly. She's like, "Hey, let's get this bread, homies."
But I think it's like it kind of adds to my point of like everything from when we start in the psych ward to the therapy session makes you believe like, oh, this is the actual reality. He's just been imagining everything. But then everything from therapy session onwards slowly then starts to twist everything to, it's like becomes mixed. It's like a mesh of both realities, and now you have no clue which is the real one. I think this is all because he was dying. And this is like his. Like, I think there was a period of time when he was in a psych ward because he obviously already knew about, like, he has issues. And I think it's memories of that time meshing with memories of what he's just been going through. And his like, he's inside his own mind and he can't obviously split them. So it's all just been meshed together. And that's why he's seeing, we saw body double, not the same person with personalities. We saw each personality as a full person because he's in his own head.
So I've got a feeling I'm not completely off the lines with you. I agree to an extent. I think what this is a kind of purgatory that he can experience because once an avatar is always an avatar kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Khonshu's been locked away, but he kind of like left enough inside him to protect him for one last time, but not enough to fully resurrect him. So he's kind of stuck in this purgatory until he can be released, either to being dead or being restored.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the next episode is going to be them kind of interacting with the gods, such as Toret, to convincing them to release Khonshu so that he can be fully restored.
Yeah,
but I think part of that is going to require Jake being let loose.
Yeah, I do think we're going to start off this next episode finding. Because I think what's going to happen is they freak the fuck out at the hippo. I think they run backwards into that room, and then they turn around and there's the caskets there, and they're like, well, I guess we open this to see what's in this one now. And then the three of them together escape whatever shit's going on.
But if we don't get Jake until episode 6, which is the final episode, I'm probably going to be a bit pissy about it, I'm going to be honest.
I don't think they...
because the pacing for this show so far has been brilliant. I don't want them to fall in the trap for the other Disney Plus shows of rushing the last episode. If Jake only gets released and like explored in the last episode, it's going to be rushed.
I think... No, I do think we get him this next episode, because there's obviously some of this next episode is going to be in this psych ward place. And if anything, that kind of gives you a good space to bring him out in and explain, because he's going to be more chaotic. But yeah, like, who fucking knows where it's going now?
Overall, where do you put it with the other episodes? Better, worse, average?
I think I enjoyed episode 3 more. And maybe that's partly on like some of the visual effects and kind of getting to have both of the characters working together and all that. Like, it kind of felt like, oh, this is a cool point. And there was a lot of Khonshu stuff in that, which was also cool. but I'd probably put this maybe just below episode 3 because this is like mental fuckery, which is what I've talked about on the run up to this with Fight Club and how much I was looking forward to. Like, there's gonna be some complete flips that we just don't see because they purposefully are showing it as one way, and now they're going to show it as a different way, and things are going to completely change.
I think for me, I enjoyed episode 4 more, but I think episode 3 is the better episode.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, moving on to our next.